I'm Julia Ray, Technical Editor at Cosmetics Business, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Cosmetics Business in conversation with Knoll Printing and Packaging. I am joined by Ben Cohen, who is Creative and Innovation Director at Knoll Printing and Packaging. Hi Ben, great to have you here.
Hi Julia, thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. So to begin, could you maybe tell our listeners a little bit more about Knoll and about yourself and your work there?
Of course. So Knoll is a 35-year-old family-run packaging business. So we're based out of New York, which is where I currently am here in our showroom. And we also have sales teams in California, as well as in Paris, the UK, and then we have our APAC teams in Hong Kong and China. And so we are the leader in creating luxury rigid packaging for the world's most prestigious cosmetics, wine and spirit brands. And I would say that we absolutely pride ourselves on setting the standard for sustainability, as well as driving innovation, utilizing creativity, and having what's been deemed the Knoll standard for quality. So making sure that everything that our customers receive has 100% quality and 100% on-time delivery.
Fantastic. And what's your role with Knoll as well?
Sure. So as the creative and innovation director, my role is to make sure that we are pushing the boundaries of packaging. And this is particularly important when it comes to sustainability. So there are so many new materials that are on the market and things that we want to utilize and be able to partner with our customers to help allow them to basically think outside the box of what traditionally had been run. So it's my goal to work with them and be able to see where we can have implementation and using sustainability as one of the primary drivers in our innovation and creativity.
Now, talking about sustainability, I believe that the end of this year will mark a major sustainability goal for Knoll in that you will be 100% FSC certified. So firstly, what is the significance of this certification and how did you go about achieving it as well?
Of course. So yes, as you mentioned, by the end of the year, Knoll will be 100% FSC certified, and we will be the first one in the industry to receive this certification. So the goal of FSC as an organization is to make sure that the forests that materials are coming from. So we work primarily in paper, right? So where our paper comes from is particularly important for us and our customers. So the goal of FSC is to make sure that the forests are protected, right? And that there's both environmental and economic benefits to the communities where these materials are being sourced from. So it's one thing to be able to just utilize FSC certified materials, but we wanted to become FSC certified as a company, which is a step beyond just utilizing FSC materials, right? Because it allows us better control of our supply chain, and it allows us to have a voice in the global sustainability movements to make sure that where our materials are coming from are more responsibly sourced than if we didn't have this accreditation, right? And it definitely plays into our importance that we put on as a company with taking a leadership role within sustainability. So it's one thing to just utilize certain materials and call yourself sustainable, but at Knoll, we really focused on the global sustainability leadership opportunities. So becoming FSC certified as a company plays into our commitment to the global sustainability movement.
Fantastic. So you mentioned just then that you're taking this leadership role when it comes to your sustainability approach. Beyond what you've just mentioned, are there any other examples of how you're doing this you could give us?
Yes, so there's a few other leadership things going on. Even in my role, one of my primary duties is the involvement in these organizations. So for me, just as Ben, it's really has been an honor to be able to learn about what these companies do and how we can participate, right, in what global sustainability looks like. So the first one is EcoVadis. So EcoVadis is essentially an auditing process that's globally recognized, and it looks at transparency within a company, how controlled your supply chain is, how you're treating your employees. So it's every aspect of how you do business, and then they give you a ranking. Every year, no surprise, the ranking gets tougher and tougher and higher. So for us, it was for 2020 a really big honor to receive a gold status. So every year they give you a medal, right?
I guess
And this
gold is the top one, obviously.
it's almost the top. This year they added another level, right? Which is great. It allows us to continue focusing where we can have areas of improvement. But by receiving gold, it put us in the top 4% globally of how our businesses run when it comes to sustainability. And so EcoVadis is very reactive, right? So they're looking at the last year window for how you did business. So which is why we also participate with the United Nations Global Compact, which is the global CSR initiative based out of the UN, the United Nations, right?
Not just an organization that.
No, yeah, like the big deal one. And what's awesome is that there's about 11,000 organizations that are part of the UNGC, the United Nations Global Compact. And their goal is to look ahead. So if EcoVadis is looking within the last year window and challenging you to look ahead, right, and how you make any areas of improvement, the United Nations Global Compact is really looking ahead, particularly to 2030. And what goals and objectives within sustainability development goals companies can reach. And it's amazing. There's all these online courses and workshops, and I personally have been able to attend in-person meetings where we have to decide, for example, what decent workplace needs to look like by 2030. So as a company, we actually have a participatory role in shaping the future of sustainability. And so every year, they also release a list of 40 organizations out of the 11,000 that have gone above and beyond in their commitment to sustainability when it comes to leadership. And I'm really honored that this year we were named a Global Compact lead for the second year in a row, actually. And it's a list of 40 companies out of this 11,000 bunch. And we were the only small medium enterprise SME on this list, and the only one really in our category that has achieved this status. But these are just two examples of how we are really participating in what global sustainability looks like as a company. As well as lastly, we do work with NGOs. So those are non-government organizations, right? Because as a small family business, we need the support of companies like EcoVadis and United Nations Global Compact and these other NGOs to be able to extend our reach and see, where we are having impact and where we can have improvement and really push all of this forward, right? And put our hand in the ring to see how we can contribute.
Fantastic, that's fascinating. So when you're talking about sustainability goals there that you're working towards, obviously you have your FSC certification, which you've discussed, but so to keep on improving your green credentials and ensuring you keep within these elite groups that you just mentioned there, what are you doing?
Yeah. So what's really fascinating is that I like to think about sustainability as this continuous improvement loop, right? So there's no end. There really is no end we're going every day. We're looking within where we can have impact, right? And that's really what it's about. So this includes within our own four walls of our offices. So even making sure there are small things, and this is things that anyone can do in their everyday life, right? Like making sure that you have proper cutlery in your kitchen, right? So you're not using plastic single use, or providing lunch bags to our teams to make sure that we're not using plastic bags if you go to the grocery store, right? So it's things like that there's always areas of improvement, as well as we offer continued education opportunities for our team members across the world. Recently, we installed solar panels in our New York office, right? So it's all of these things sort of add up, and we're always looking for ways that we can, within our own four walls, reduce our impact. And then also, when it comes outside our four walls, and when it comes to our relationship with our customers and what we make, we do have very strict, very substantial goals for 2021 on the dovetail of 2020. So we're looking to reduce 200 metric tons of plastic from our supply chain, which For when our category feels like a lot, but again, in terms of global sustainability, it's one small puzzle piece. And then we're also looking at how we can reduce CO2 emissions. So there are certain materials that we are recommending that actually utilize less CO2 during the production of them. And then also maybe are lighter in weight, so then it reduces the CO2 when you're shipping, right? Looking at how packaging can be reduced in size and weight is also really important. So when you reduce the weight, you're reducing the CO2 emissions when you're shipping. And then when you're reducing the size, you're reducing the amount of materials that are needed. So perhaps you're cutting down one less tree through the FSC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's all these layers, right? And at the end of the day, so all this becomes overwhelming too, right? When you're speaking with customers and you're speaking with people that are just trying to see where to get started too. So most simply, I would say that, our primary goal is to make sure that what we produce is recyclable and reusable as well. So this all comes back to the partnership with our customers at the end of the day too, because there's all these dialogues about, what are your sustainability goals and how can we help you meet them? And then how can we push you beyond what you even originally imagined to be possible?
Better. Yeah, absolutely.
Better and better, right, exactly.
Fantastic. That's really, really good news to hear about your sustainability drive there. But I think we have focused quite a lot on sustainability, and although it's obviously hugely important to know, I imagine there's also been maybe quite a lot else that you've been working on. Have you had any innovations launched recently? What's new from Knoll on the packaging front?
Yeah, so it's funny. So yes, we have some new developments, which to no one's surprise are absolutely driven by sustainability. So it's like you can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. But yeah, so there's 3 products that we launched this year, and some of which we've seen implementation, some of which will be implemented next year, and you'll see on the market for next year. So the first one is Knoll Ecoform, which is a plant-based material made from a mix of bamboo, wood, and sugarcane fibers. And a lot of our customers this year have been utilizing it as an alternative to platforms. So they've been able to remove, whether it's EVA or other thermoform plastics, and utilize this material to be their platform in their packaging. But it can also be utilized as a monomaterial packaging solution. And what's great about it is that it is recyclable, biodegradable, and compostable, and it actually does use less CO2 emissions during production than traditional plastics in that process. And so it's a win-win. I have some right here that I'm able to show you, but what's great too is that it can be color matched as well. So here's an example in black.
That looks exactly like a standard one in terms of quality and appearance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it has a very smooth finish, a really luxury appearance. And then there's a lot of opportunities too within the cosmetic space. So you're able to use it as a platform for makeup. And so, yeah, it's a really great solution. I have one more here. So in white too, a very prestigious look. This whole thing is made out of the Knoll Ecoform pulp. So it's absolutely a solution that you're able to utilize to be able to swap out certain materials that definitely have a more negative impact on the environment. And so it can be color matched, it can be molded to whatever, to the shapes that you may need of your product. So there's a lot of customizing that you're able to do with it, and you're having a more positive impact on the environment. And next up, we have most recently launched a solution called Knoll Luxe Premium Board Platforms. And this is another solution that a brand can use to move away from plastics and EVA and polystyrene and these things that are polluting our environment. And what's really great about it is that it is recyclable. It's all paper, it's board. So it's a terrific sustainable solution. And it utilizes all finished edges and cavities to hold the product. So there's a limitless opportunity when it comes to decoration, and it does have a very upscale appearance. So I do have one here. And so you see here, there's no raw edges on any of this. So if a customer is seeing this at home, it has a very finished approach, and it looks and feels sturdy. So we definitely consider this to be a really wonderful solution when it comes to platforms, right? And we will definitely see it on the market for next year for some of the world's leading luxury skincare and cosmetic companies. And there is one more product that we have launched this year, and it's recycled metallized paper, which I have here. And
Fantastic.
what's great is that it's funny how the light picks it up, which is
It
perfect
makes it
because yeah,
fantastic.
it's a solution to mylar. So mylar isn't traditionally recyclable. So here we have it has the same effect, the same appearance, and this application is absolutely recyclable. So you see, there are these innovations that we have launched this year, and so with that comes a steep learning curve with our customers. So definitely as we head into 2021 as well, it's an ongoing dialogue. It's our ongoing conversations with each other to see, where can we adapt packaging? Where can we, have areas of improvement? So too, when we're like, what's happening in 2021 with these innovations? It definitely is one step at a time, and making sure that, these begin to really get implemented into the market.
Fantastic. Well, that's really good news. 3 really interesting innovations there. And I look forward to seeing them end up on shelf with some of our favorite brands as well.
Yeah.
So you mentioned dialoguing with your customers about this will be a big part of your 2021 plans. What else will 2021 hold for you guys? What can we expect to see?
Sure. So aside from definitely, there's been an extraordinary acceleration with implementation of sustainable materials. So we're also excited to be able to, show off all of these in the market with our favorite brands. But we have recently launched a new pillar at Knoll, which is the primary focus for 2021 too, and that is digitized packaging. So utilizing QR codes, NFC technologies, and AR to basically allow our customers that we already work with to have a deeper connection with their customers. So it's a new way to connect. It's a new way to engage. And this is definitely, has been accelerated through what we've been experiencing in 2020. Brands are looking at ways to connect with their customers and build that connection when people are now shopping online, right? So how do you build that brand loyalty when now people are going through e-commerce opposed to potentially being in the store and interacting with the salesperson and having that emotional relationship? So by offering digitized packaging solutions, it's that intersection of the packaging and the customer, and it's limitless for what our customers could be able to do. So for example, they could offer virtual try-on experiences. They could create custom content, as well as it's an opportunity for them to also share their sustainability story. So what if you finally received a packaging that told you how to recycle it based on where you are? It's like, it's the dream. It's the dream. So it definitely is a manifestation of everything that's happened, that the challenges of this year and new ways to connect and engage. And it's a new pillar at Knoll, and it is absolutely one of our primary focuses for 2021. We have built custom software. We have a custom platform where it's essentially 5 easy steps for a brand to launch a campaign. So super easy, super user-friendly, and we'll definitely see 2021 as a big year around digitized packaging as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for talking us through Knoll Sustainability Drive there and showing us your green packaging solutions as well too. That was Cosmetics Business in conversation with Ben Cohen from Knoll Printing and Packaging. If you'd like to discover more interviews with companies like Knoll Printing and Packaging from across the beauty industry, head to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe, or visit cosmeticsbusiness.com.